Well, it has been a whirlwind 48 hours for Mayor Eric Adams after he was sworn into office early Saturday morning in Times Square.
Yeah, Mayor Adams has already had to confront crime, gun violence, now a snow alert for the city just as students are heading back to school today. And Mayor Eric Adams joins us on the phone this morning as he makes his way up to the Bronx to greet students and teachers returning from winter break. So good morning to you, Mayor Adams. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Good speaking with you.
Good to speak to you. Happy New Year. And it's great to say mayor instead of mayor-elect. But let's get right to some of the top stories right now. And, we talked about this travel advisory in effect for parts of the city this morning, right, because of the snow and icy conditions. But our meteorologist is saying, hey, there's much ado about nothing maybe in New York City. What are your thoughts about the overall snowstorm here?
Well, and that is a very important mindset. Think about it for a moment. We were concerned about the storm. We spend so much time worrying about things, what happened, what could happen, that we don't live in the present. Let's focus on the present. The storm is not here. We can get through all of these crises, and the storm of COVID, we can get through that as well. We're going to get through this in New York, and that's what I'm saying to New Yorkers. The feeling of despair that has engulfed us and allowed COVID and crime, those days are over. We're not going to be ruled by anything but the prosperity that this city has to offer, and that is my focus.
Yeah, let's talk about what's on your agenda today. You're headed to Concourse Village in the Bronx, where students are heading back to class today as the city still tries to get a handle on the surge in COVID cases. So students, teachers, they were all urged to get tested before heading back to school. But for those that weren't able to do that, will there be at-home tests available to those folks?
Let me share what happened over the last few days that New York is not aware of. I put together a team on Wednesday where we mobilized to get over 1.5 million tests to the city, thanks to the governor as well as the city procurement. And we were able to get tests in every school, boxes of tests, every school based on the student population in the city of New York, including our charter schools and other private parochial schools. So right now, when teachers walk into the building, they're going to have tests there because we put together an unprecedented coordination of UFT, my team, NYPD. So a child is exposed to COVID, that entire classroom will receive tests to take home so the children can be tested. This is what you call coordination to make sure that we're ready to protect our children.
And I know you've been in close contact with the UFT, right, who certainly have had concerns about going into this week with testing, with vaccine mandates and booster mandates and the lack thereof. Are you confident there are enough teachers that will actually show up to work given the Omicron surge as well and the number of sick calls in other agencies?
Well, Michael and I, we have communicated for the last 6 or 7 days, twice, sometimes 2-3 times a day. I am confident that we're going to find the manpower to have our children in the safest place for them, and that is in a school building. Think about it. Last year, when we looked at COVID, it was a 15% likeliness to be exposed inside a home. Only less than 1% likeliness to be exposed inside a school. I'm going to keep my schools open. And we're going to have the staffing to ensure that our children are in a safe place. That's the best place for our children.
Now, we spoke with Mr. Mulgrew last week, and he was talking about the complaints teachers had about the lack of response from the Situation Room, which was put in place to help track COVID cases in public schools. So have those issues been addressed? And also on top of that, a complaint that teachers have had that they say has been ignored is ventilation in the classrooms, that is still a problem.
Well, let's take both those questions one at a time. First, I announced on January 1st that I am a GSD mayor, get stuff done. And when I spoke to Michael Mulgrew, he told me, Eric, the Situation Room is a total mess. My team went in there, speak with him again, and let him tell you what that Situation Room looks like now. We got it done. Second, the teachers and the ventilation. Every classroom in this city, my first deputy mayor Lorraine Grillo, shared with me when I heard about those complaints. She says, Eric, every classroom in the city has the proper ventilation. If there's a class that's not, we're going to make sure in real time we get it in the classroom. I'm a GSD mayor. We got to get stuff done for New Yorkers, and I'm going to get it done.
So let's talk about getting things done. The city's vaccine mandates, sir, will remain in effect for public and private sector employees. You signed that on day one. What's the timeline then, whether you would decide on if booster shots will also be mandatory and encapsulate what people call fully vaccinated?
Well, we have to look at the data and figure out, based on the pivoting of how we're going to pivot, if COVID becomes at a crisis mode where we need to mandate the booster shots, we're going to do so. Right now, we need to get New Yorkers vaccinated. That shows the less likeliness of being hospitalized or death. Many people think vaccines mean that you won't get the virus. No, it means you're less likely to be hospitalized or die. If my health professionals say, Eric, I need to mandate it, then I'm going to mandate it. I'm going to do whatever is needed to keep New Yorkers safe.
No.
Right now, we're not at the point of mandated. But if we get there, I'm going to ensure that we mandate it the same way we mandated the vaccine. But I am encouraging every New Yorker, just as I did, to get their booster shot.
Yeah, you've been very clear about what your priorities are, COVID and also crime. So let's pivot to that. Crime and gun violence. An NYPD officer recovering this morning after being shot was sleeping in his car in between shifts in Harlem. Is there any update on the investigation there and tracking down the shooter? And what do you plan to do about this gun violence in the city?
As you know, it's an active investigation. The police commissioner and I communicated about it yesterday while we were at the hospital, where that heroic officer was able to walk out on his own. We're happy for him, his wife, and his two beautiful children that their dad is going home. Here's my promise. We're going to find the shooter. We're going to find him, and we're going to get him and that gun off our streets. And I have the utmost faith and trust in our new commissioner. She's going to bring a wealth of knowledge in how we're going to reform our police department so that we have the justice we deserve and the safety that we need. And we're going after guns. We're going to have a coordination between city, state, and federal agencies and our district attorneys so that we can identify those shooters and those who are carrying guns and get them off our streets.
You know, you had to call 911 on your very first day for a fight that broke out outside of a subway station. Were you happy with the police response?
It was a teaching moment. And, you know, I believe if you see something, say something, and do something, and I did something, I called the police. I think that what happened there is crucial that we use that interaction as a teaching moment. The officers, I believe, should have stopped, carried out a more thorough investigation, interviewed the people at the scene. I don't believe they did that properly, but we should instruct how we want these jobs handled and how we want them to come to a proper resolution. And I'm going to look at that and make sure that we instruct our officers on what my expectations are.
We actually saw you on the subway, then on a city bike. Is this what you plan on, how you plan on getting around the city during your mayoral time?
Yes, I am. I believe that alternate forms of transportation, I think that it sends the right message. And people want to see their mayor. They want to believe in their city again. There's a privilege to live in New York City. And I believe that we need to show why people should want to live here. And our expectations of the mayor should be high. And I'm going to live up to those expectations during these dog days. I'm going to show New Yorkers we're resilient, we're strong, and we're going to use all methods and resources to turn our city around.
And briefly, before we let you go, because we're almost out of time here, I do want to ask you quickly about small businesses and the idea that so many small businesses want to stay open. Obviously, they're the lifeline of New York City, right? And it has to go with hand in hand with what's happening in schools as well as small businesses. You need to show proof of vaccine, fully vaccinated to get into a business. The governor has come out and said, hey, SUNY schools are going to have to get boosted. What's your take on keeping small businesses alive in New York City in terms of booster shots?
I think it's crucial to keep small businesses alive. I have a small business roundtable and a corporate roundtable because I believe one of the failures we had in the past is a lack of communication and coordination. My SBS and all of my agencies are going to give the support to small businesses. We're not going to be punitive. We're going to be supportive. And that is how we keep the doors open to make sure that people can come in, be safe, but at the same time keep our city open and operated. We can't close down this city again. We must operate and keep it open in a safe way.
But just to be clear, the governor said she's going to do boosters for SUNY schools. Do you think that needs to expand further?
Further in the CUNY and SUNY system, or further in small businesses?
In schools?
Again, we will examine the mandating of boosters based on my daily updates with my healthcare professionals, and we'll make a determination. If they tell me, Eric, we reached the point we need to mandate it, we will do that. We're not at that point right now.
Okay.
We're at the point of encouraging people to get booster shots as much as possible, just as I received my booster shot.
Yeah, and as you head to that school this morning, I'm sure a lot of parents are going to wonder whether or not you will mandate that their children are vaccinated. I know that's a decision that's going to be made in April.
Something we're going to review and look at. We right now want to bring the level of normality and comfort to our parents. We don't want to further traumatize our families based on what COVID has done already. The calmness is going to bring the competency that we're looking for. And we have a Zen mayor that is going to bring the calmness to this city as we get through this, New York.
Zen, I need a little Zen. Can you pass that along to me? You know, I heard that that you know, obviously we know you're vegan. We followed your smoothie trails. But is it true from what I'm hearing that the vending machines at City Hall are turning vegan?
Wouldn't that be a nice thing? We're going to have healthy snacks in our schools, and we have been meeting with a group of people that have found ways to bring good tasting, healthy snacks. Being plant-based does not mean you cannot enjoy good tasting food, and we're just going to do the best we can to show New Yorkers how to be healthy.
I think people also want to know, judging by your speech, is Snapple going to be the official drink of City Hall?
Oh my gosh.
No, it's not. It's just that we know that we're made up of the best stuff on earth. We're New Yorkers.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much, Mayor Adams, for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you. Take care.
Keep us posted on how it goes today, all right? We'll talk to you soon.